Alles gute Dinge sind drei. First, the bus journey from Tallinn to the far west of mainland Estonia. Second, the short ferry trip across to the island of Muhu. And then third, the onward bus journey across Muhu over to Saaremaa and down to Kuressaare. All good things come in threes. Forgive me, I should have hailed you with a Göteborg, but then you might have thought we were in Gothenburg, but we're not even in Sweden. This isn't one of the Swedish videos. You may not have seen any of the Swedish videos yet. Anywho, I think Göteborg would have been a little bit appropriate maybe a few hundred years ago. A significant number of Swedish settlers came to Saaremaa, as they did to western mainland Estonia and numerous other islands. And obviously there's still a remnants in the bloodlines of the local people and in the culture. So the folks here on Saaremaa no doubt are proud of their Swedish heritage as much as they are of their Estonian heritage, and may well be a mix of cultures, as most of us are. So here's Kuressaare bus station. Now what I need to do is find my way out of here. Aha, Lennujam, that means airport. That's where I'll be heading later. But a lot more to see and do before then. Including, well, I assume it's Piscopilinus. Piscopilinus? Yeah, I'm thinking that's the castle. However it is, I'm heading down this street, and I'm pretty sure it must be the main street. And it's really quite ironic that I'm coming here on such a beautiful day. On my previous two visits to the island, I told you already that they were basically two washouts. The first one, it's a long time ago, and I suppose the dreadful weather was really a metaphor for the atmosphere between myself and a young lady from Estonia who I travelled here with for a short break. Yeah, let's not go there, shall we? Let's just say the skies darkened, the rains fell, it was a washout. Moving on, and several years later, I was back, all on my lonesome this time, and it's rather easier if you travel on your own. That's what I find. Not everyone's the same, of course, but I'd seen a break in the weather, and after some lousy summer weather that year, I happened to be up and around the Baltics, moving around, and I suddenly saw, wow, 4 days of fine sunny weather in the weather forecast for Saaremaa. Foolish man. What can I say? I came here and I actually did arrive on a rather gorgeous day like today is. And the omens seem to be very good indeed. What happened? First stop was tourist information, as it will be again this time round. And I was just talking to them in tourist information about things, touristic things, and the reason why I was there. I think it was a little early in the season from their reaction. I was the first foreigner of that summer season. or slightly pre-summer season, but no, I think it was early summer season. And I explained, yeah, I've seen the weather forecast. Finally, some good weather in the Baltics. I've headed to Saaremaa. And I remember that one of the people working there was looking at a computer monitor and said, "Oh dear, I'm really sorry that you've booked 4 days in Saaremaa, or on Saaremaa, because the weather forecast was good, but it's just changed. Rain coming in later today and for the next 3 days." And I thought, oh no. And it's really hard to believe when you hear that. You don't want to believe it. And also because what you're seeing with your eyes is clear blue skies. What could possibly go wrong? This time round, I've only got to make it until the early evening, or late afternoon, really, because I'll be flying back to Tallinn, as you know, all being well. So anyway, true enough, the revised weather forecast proved correct. I had a splendid afternoon into the early evening, and then, that evening and the next 3 days, complete washout. And the weird thing is, I didn't decide to go into the castle. I really ought to have, shouldn't I? That would have made a lot more sense, because I could have stayed dry for one thing, instead of bullishly or boorishly or piggishly, however you want to describe it. I tried to fight the elements or ignore the elements, and failed. Just got wet day after day, and you know how we men can be sometimes. Just think, no, I'm going to carry on. If I'd had a woman with me probably at the time on that second occasion, she may well have said, excuse me, I just want to add a bit of common sense to this predicament that you or we find ourselves in. It's pouring down with rain. Why are you getting up and trying to be a tourist? You don't have your own transport. You're standing at bus stops where buses aren't coming. You're not getting to the places that you want to see, or if you are, you're soaking wet and it's taken you flipping ages. And then you're returning to the hostel, soaking wet and miserable, with nowhere to dry your things off. Why are you putting yourself, and maybe me as well, through all this? See sense, man. It's a write-off. Yes, well, that's how it may have worked out on another occasion, but it didn't happen that way. I just thought, I give up on Saaremaa. Won't be coming back here in a hurry. But now, today, here I am. And I find myself at the pretty central square. That's nice to see. Probably the camera isn't picking it up. There's a lovely atmosphere here. And fountains going. Seeing a fountain always makes me think, the place isn't completely closed for business. Whereas, I'm looking at tourist information here and feeling, those doors look very solid and very firmly closed, don't they? I wonder if they are closed for business. Let's see what happens if I try to pry the door open. Oh, not closed for business. That's good. Crash. Now, this is the kind of magazine I should have been reading before I came here, isn't it? It now occurs to me that it would have made more sense to go to tourist information in Tallinn first. However, this is such a last-minute, spur-of-the-moment, harebrained plan that I put together. Okay, excuses. I still had yesterday when I could have gone to tourist information in Tallinn. Picked up some literature, read it through, become more acquainted, better acquainted, refresh my memory. And yeah, but I didn't. Never mind. I think they have quite a few festival days here in Saaremaa. I was reading somewhere, you see, I did do a bit of background work. They have several days of opera. So if you're interested in singing, it might suit you to come here on those days. And of course, there'll be the celebration of your summer adventures on the island. Not forgetting, of course, the island of Muhu. Aha! As they would be saying at that science museum in Tartu. This is the place we're looking for. The Pispalinia. Lina. Ooh. I'm going to get in trouble trying to say that, aren't I? The castle. And it definitely looks interesting from above, doesn't it? As it does from all angles, I think. I'm sure we'll get a good ground level view all around those fortifications and hopefully have a nice view from the inside at whatever exhibitions they have going on at the moment.